So the session here today is really about progress for the sector. How do we progress in terms of productivity? Because we've got an economy that's flatlined over the last 20 years. Real wages have grown by a measly 4% compared to 40% in the 30 years previous to 2008. It's about people. How do we invest in people as a sector? What public investment do we need? And we've seen that actually decline for adults by 2/3 since 2010. And how do we, in terms of employers, what investment do they need to make in people so we get that skills and productivity escalator working for the benefit of everyone again? And finally, it's about the sector, because we're the educators at the end of the day. We're the people who are at the front line caring and nurturing for human flourishing, for education, developing a love of learning on the one hand, but also enabling people with the skills that meets that skills and productivity challenge. So really what we'll be doing in this session is to kind of look at progress, yes, in a philosophical way, but also how do we ground it in the economy so that what we have going forward for our young people, but also for our adults in the workforce, is an economy that's growing in the interests of everyone and not just a few at the top. But that's why I look at the barriers to progress through this notion of productivity, people and the sector. So when you look at the barriers around productivity, employers are not investing enough, the state is not investing enough in training. So just to give you an example, since 1997, the number of training hours that employers invest in their people is reduced by 60%. It's half what it is in relation to our European competitors. We've lost 10 million training days just since 2011. Now ultimately that feeds through to the real economy and that has an impact. So what it means is we've been growing our workforce in terms of record numbers of people in employment, but we're not improving the skills utilisation, we're not improving the quality. So that's a barrier. We've got to get employers investing in the right kinds of training. And for people, we know that obviously life's complex. So we need a lifelong learning system that meets the needs of individuals, isn't about meeting the needs of top-down government programmes. So there's barriers there. If you're in your middle age, you're a single mum, you want to retrain for one of these skills occupation shortage areas that we're actually bringing large numbers of people from overseas to come and fill. You're on universal credit. You can't take a year out on universal credit and train for one of those skills shortage occupation areas. So we need to join up our skills policy system with our welfare system and make it easier for individuals to train. So that's what we mean about the barriers around its people, its productivity, but then we need a sector that can spring into action and can deliver for those people. The FE Collective is an absolutely brilliant initiative. It should have happened 30 years ago. Today we've got representatives from independent training providers, from colleges. You've got oldies like me who've been around the sector for 30 years and dabble now in a bit of academia, but also I run a skills organisation. It's great just to see the diversity of thought, the diversity of perspective, but in the end we're all here because yes, FE stands for further education, but we also know that FE is a fantastic education and we believe in FE because there's a lot of people here who've come up through FE. The problem for us in relation to the policymakers is for too long FE has meant forgotten education. And we've got to ensure that once again it's about fantastic education and that we say to the policymakers, we are the FE Collective, we stand for fantastic education, but we stand for the future of this country, and that's why you've got to invest in FE.